Hello everyone, welcome to the Red Men TV for some daily news. We're a little bit earlier today because, of course, the draw for the Carabao Cup took place at something between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. this morning, which is a perfectly reasonable time for a cup draw to be made. I mean, it genuinely couldn't be any further from being a reasonable time for a cup draw to be made, but there you go. The most important news that come out of it, ultimately, though, that we all checked once we woke up, because, again, why? Leicester, away. Yeah. There you go, a ground that we've struggled at in recent years, and we're going to be going back there again this time in the League Cup, and this time, one would imagine, with a shadow team. I want to know your thoughts on this. We'll come to some of these. Tom's in the comments. I'll have the comments up in a second as well. So, do you think Leicester's a good draw for us to have? I want to know your thoughts. My reasoning on it is I think it's fine. I think because, and this is going to sound a bit weird, to be perfectly honest, I want Liverpool to challenge on all fronts. I don't like seeing Liverpool lose football games in any way, shape or form, but I think you're going to put your second string team out there for that game, absolutely. And if that team's good enough to beat the team that Leicester put out, then fair play, they deserve to go through. But equally, we've got Leicester twice in a week, so we play them. It'll be probably midweek. I reckon that game will end up getting played a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And then we've got them at the weekend as well. And it's whether, obviously, you know, the league game will ultimately be more important than all that. But to play them away twice in a week as well. And ultimately, the one I'm driving at is this, is if you're going to lose one of those two games, if you lose the League Cup game, you shrug. And you shrug it off and you get on with the rest of your season, and all of a sudden you've not maybe got to fix your pile up when you don't really need one, because I like the League Cup. I like winning the League Cup. We've won the League Cup more than anyone. It's fine. But I'm not sure we've got the depth to compete on a number of too many fronts, and really we want to succeed in the league, and we want to make as good a fist of the Champions League as possible, because Champions League. Something I want to discuss in a second. We'll get some of your Leicester reactions now, but I'm going to come on to what Jurgen Klopp was talking about the impact Champions League has on transfers. And apparently there's a Southampton ITK, and he's given an update on Virgil van Dijk. I'm going to come to that in a moment. But Tom, have you got some comments for us?
No. I did. I definitely did. Patrick Wraith, no one cares about the Carabao Cup draw, let's be honest. Mr.
People
Nice
care
HK.
about the Carabao Cup draw.
Mr. Knight HK, I give zero shits about this cup. Jake Waddle, we could actually win it this year just because of that shit name. And then someone did say something quite good. Any cup is decent is Chris Gerrard, which is I agree with.
Yeah, to be fair, we had a little chat about this, didn't we? About how you just want to go for it on every front. I mean, this is the thing, is the time you go for it on as many fronts as you possibly can, and if you fall, the more you go to win everything.
Yeah.
And hopefully you come to the end of the season and you've won something.
Exactly. I mean, if you think about when Klopp's first season, and we went for everything, played every game that we could, but it was a good season because we were challenging for as much as we could. Yeah,
absolutely, completely agree on that. Mike Tyson, wow, just play the under-9s, end of. Well, no, because think about the development of the under-9s. Don't play the under-9s, that's a really bad idea. You've seen how violent Leicester are. Kyle Sardis says, what is Carabao? And you know what? No one cares. Ryan Owen, what the fuck is the Carabao Cup? It's the League Cup. It's the League Cup. In fact, let me know in the comments right now, what is the name of the League Cup for you? When someone asks you about that competition, what's the name you always come back to? You like, it's the Cup, ... Cup. Because it's era-based, this, and it tells you a lot about your age and stuff. Like, for me, it's either the Worthington Cup or the Coca-Cola Cup, and I often joke about the Rumbelows Cup just because I think it's an amazingly funny name, even though I was really too young for it to be the Rumbelows Cup. And also, does anyone know, Tom, do you know what Rumbelows is?
I haven't. Chicken wings, maybe.
No. Let me know, without Googling it, of course. If you know what Rumbelows was, let me know that in the comments. We'll come back to that in a second. That'll be amazing.
Loads of Carling Cups there. Milk Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Carling Cup, Mickey Mouse, Capital One Cup, the Capital One Cup, dear God. Michael Cook, Worthington Cup, and always will be. Yeah, absolutely. Maciek Seagal League, simply. Wrigley Mick, Coca-Cola Cup, yeah, absolutely. Mighty Reds is clearly older than all of us. It's the Milk Cup. Carling Cup says Josh McGuinness Army. Carling Cup is Kai Fon Davies. Frank Drebin. Says the Milk Cup because he's clearly old to have Naked Gun references and knows that it's the Milk Cup. Yeah, absolutely. Carling Cup says Nick LFC CCY. Coca-Cola Cup Michael Sutton. Yeah. Rumbelows says Dan Jessel. Now, does anyone have any suggestions for what Rumbelows is in the comments? The Chicken Wings Cup says says LFC. The Coffee Cup, hey. The Blob Shop Cup. Now the Blob Shop Cup would be amazing. Rumbelows was like Curry's, says Mike Schofield. Fantastic. It was like Curry's, which was like Comet. Super Chat.
Do you want me to read it?
Go on.
Niv Football, we need a fucking trophy. Any will do. We need the centre-back still. Plus, we can't sell Coutinho as we have no time to replace him. Come on, LFC. You'll never walk alone.
Yeah, all of that is spot on. But I want a bit more emotion in when you're reading these Super Chats, Tom. You've put an exclamation point in there for a reason.
Lost my voice last night, Paul.
Yeah.
We need a fucking trophy.
Any will do. We need a centre-back still, plus we can't tell. Yeah, you're right. We do need a centre-back. We definitely need a trophy. We need some silverware. We need to get into the swing of winning things. And I said this before the game last night, and I'm going to do this on the Final Word show. I said Liverpool need to get out of the habit of disappointing us as fans on the pitch in particular, and that's a good place to start as getting into the group stage. But yeah, we do need a centre back still, and look, we won't sell. We're not selling Phil Coutinho. And maybe this is one of those things that we'll come back to me for saying this online, but I see no sense in it. Whatever, we say things all the time. Liverpool won't be selling Phil Coutinho this summer, unless there's literally some mad deal where some amazing player comes in on the same day that he goes out. There's just no way that Phil Coutinho is being sold by Liverpool to Barcelona this summer. So there you go. And yeah, because we've got no time to replace him, exactly that. Are we even chasing any players? Apollo Gray says, Klopp going to sign anyone else? Let's go on to the next video. So Jurgen Klopp was interviewed post-match, and he was asked about the strength and power of position or whatever that being in the Champions League is, and how important it is. And he said, yeah, very important. And he makes mention about the fact that, the fact is, the level of the players that we're talking to, they all want to play Champions League football. And he said the beauty is, of course, we don't have to talk to players who aren't better than what we've got, which I think is a really nice attitude to have. And I totally agree. And I think this is the double-edged sword of where Liverpool are at this summer. But he also makes mention as well about players who renew contracts, and they're saying, I want Champions League football. And he's saying, and he says, WTF, it's your job to make sure that we get Champions League football. Now, is this a little sideswipe at Emre Can? If it is, if you just read the way this was, just the text of this, you think it was a bit like, I don't know how you take it. Watch Klopp saying it. I think it's brilliant. And if he is having a sideswipe at Emre Can has risen to that perfectly, because look at his performance last night. Look at the shift that he puts in. Yeah, absolutely spot on from Jurgen and ultimately Emre Can as well. So interesting to see whether that has an impact on Liverpool in the transfer market in the next week before the window shut. It'll be very, very interesting to see indeed. Tom, there's one more thing I was going to discuss. What was it? Oh, ITKs. ITKs indeed. So let's have a look. I've got it up here on Twitter. So let's go through it.
Just now, before you go on, Alex Wiltshire, £1. Thank you.
Thanks very much, mate. So LFC ZA, which is the South African LFC Twitter page, put this up, and it's from a Southampton forum. Now Southampton have their own ITKs, which is amazing. It's called Tom28, and he's been on that forum since November 2008 and posted 797 times. And he says this about Virgil van Dijk. There are things I know but cannot say. I will share them on here on 1st of September if Virgil van Dijk has gone. But the report that things are now toxic is absolutely true. Even if Virgil van Dijk stays, I cannot see a way for him to play given what I've been told in the last 24 to 36 hours, which is weirdly non-specific. I fully expect him to go now. The club will be criticised by some, and some will say this was the club's plan all along. I can promise you it was not. Like I said, I'll share more on 1st of September. If VVD is gone, you'll know then that I'm no plant, which I thought was like an insult. It's like some sort of South Coast insult, like, oh, you plant. But no, as it turns out, it looks like every football club is just like our football club. They've got a really mad, rabidly paranoid fan base. And so he goes on to say, the idea of a multi-million-pound organisation having a plant on a shitty fans forum is bonkers, by the way. Just have a lie down and think that through for a minute. He does also end, though, on a note of caution for us. Regarding questions about Liverpool, they're the only club that has bid. I actually don't know if the club will soften their stance towards Liverpool. I haven't heard anything at all to suggest they will, though. So, you know, whilst it's suggested that Virgil van Dijk's going to have a real struggle at Southampton over the next 7 days, and if he doesn't get sold over the rest of the season, doesn't necessarily mean there's anything better for Liverpool, but we'll have to see how this progresses in the coming days. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on that, and I think we've discussed in the comments. Tom, have you got a couple more before we wrap up?
Christian Char, I think. Can we please tie Mane down to a new contract? Here in Barca need a left winger, so let's get him on a 5-year, please.
Yeah, don't be shocked if his contract is significantly bumped up around January this year. Absolutely.
Ben Freeman, I really do think we will struggle against Leicester away. Hopefully we won't be resting any players on that game because we are in need of a cup this year.
It's going to be an interesting one, and hopefully, here's the thing, and some of this will still hinge on any business, if there is any business to be done. To be fair, between now and the closing of the window, we've seen, I think, you know, with the 2 games we've played in the last 4 days or whatever that we have got, or 4 or 5 days, that we've got the capability to rotate a little bit better this season. I think we're going to be a little bit better at doing that. So it's not outside the realms of possibility that I think we could still put a weakened side out in one of those games and do okay. Now, bear in mind that the Champions League draw is this evening. We'll be doing a live reaction to that from Anfield later on tonight, so stay tuned for that, of course. But the fixtures for the Champions League have got to go in there yet, and if Liverpool have got a Champions League game, League Cup game, Champions League game with Premier League games all up the weekend, and that's a perfect description, by the way, of where fixtures fit, then I think we might quickly change our tune on that. Go on, Tom.
Harry Stringer, £2. It's your boy, is all he says.
It's your boy! As the greatest rapper alive would say, presumably. Which I'm not, just to clarify. It's off my JD. One more.
Yuri Galachian, sorry. Would you start Ward or Karius in the League Cup?
Absolutely. I would start Ward or Karius. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be Karius, doesn't it? But other than that, I don't know. At the minute, it's a very strange one. Danny Ward's clearly got to prove himself. It wouldn't shock me if one of them leaves the club on loan next week before the window shuts, and then we'll know exactly who it is who's going to be starting those games. But yeah, unless you've got something pressing. No. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to be doing the starting 11 prediction. Yay. Because Chris is off today. Yay. But he's going to be back. He's going to be doing some collabs with Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV from that London town. If you want more from me and you want more from the Red Men TV, subscribe to the YouTube channels of Red Men TV and Mates TV. And if you want more in-depth Liverpool content, we do an absolute ton of extra stuff, really long-form stuff. We do 5 podcasts a week. There's like 3, but there's about 5 exclusive video shows as well on the redmentv.com. It's £5 a month. It's free for the 1st month. 1st month? Yeah, that was me Mike Tyson impression. Or me Harry Kane impression. Check it out. Go and subscribe. Enjoy the content. And I'll see you back here a little bit later on today for the Starting 11 prediction live.